Hello, hello, hello. This is Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist here. And I want to thank you for tuning in to part two of the series. Listen, if you didn't catch part one, I'll try to put it somewhere up top in a card, and I'll also try to link it below in the description. So make sure you check out part one as well. But thank you for tuning in to part two. And without further ado, let's get to it.
Now let's talk about Noel Jones really quickly. Noel Jones proposed to Loretta Jones after 28 years of a situationship, a relationship, or something, whatever they had. I don't know. Okay, after 28 years. Okay. Um. Oh, I got a question. So, if there is no man in the house, you don't think the woman should coddle the daughter? I don't think the woman is. I don't think we can coddle the daughter like the father can. Most daughters yearn for their fathers, even if their mothers do everything in their power. They still need a certain validation from their father. It just is. Okay. And many of them will struggle if he's not there or if he's not around because they will feel like I'm not good enough. Even if their mama gave them everything in the world, even if the mother coddled them, gave them everything in the world, if there's not a man there or if there's not a father figure or somebody there, she's always going to feel until she's healed. She's going to feel like she wasn't good enough. This is why there's so much validation in this world. So many people need being validated by a ring, which we're finna get to that in just a second. Okay. Okay, we finna get to that in just a second. We can spoil them. We can shower them with love. Absolutely. We can nurture them. We can teach them. We can hit them to game, but there's going to still be a yearning in them for their fathers. They need it. They need it. It's an Oedipus elector. When y'all get off, search Oedipus elector syndrome. Oedipus elector syndrome. Oedipus elector syndrome talks about how we first fall in love with the opposite sex, which is our parent. That's our first setting. Most girls go off and get somebody either like their daddy or they complete opposite. Think about it. So it's something that's she just needs. And if she doesn't have a father figure or somebody in her life that gives her that energy from a man, she will struggle until she gets healed. Okay. That's the best way that I can put it. I hope that answered the question. All right. So Noel Jones proposes to Loretta Jones after 28 years. All right. Now, hear me clearly. I don't have nothing against Bishop Noel Jones. And I'm not here to even talk about his call because I don't do that. Okay. That's not what I do. But he proposed to Loretta Jones after, and her last name just happened to be Jones. Okay. So it just happened to be Jones. After 28 years of what he said, holding hands on Sunday and relating to each other on Sundays. I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to move on. I want to give you a little bit of background though. Okay. Noel Jones was called into the ministry at 19 or so, and he got married somewhere around 21 and was married for like 22 years. This is all before he met Loretta. Here's my thing, and I'm going to say this. I know that some people can be called into ministry, and I don't know exactly what his role was like, but I think that some people are thrust into ministry way too quick. I think that we don't take enough time to shadow. We don't take enough time to allow people to grow and to live. We just push them on up. They got a gift from the Lord. Okay, that's great. But let me tell you something. I can speak for me. Okay, because somebody told me today that you doing ministry, and I was like, yeah, okay. I don't call it ministry. Call it what you want. But here's the thing. Before God released me to people, before God released me to serve people in this capacity, he took me through 4 years with him, 4 years of cleansing, 4 years of pruning, 4 years with him to develop so that when somebody disagrees with me, I don't pop off, go off, get off, and all of that. So that when there was a person who may have attacked me on live, I didn't pop off, go off, and do all of that. I had to heal. So before he would release me, he took me through 4 years with him, okay, to develop, so that he could trust me with people. Because when you're dealing with broken people, you don't want to break them further, okay? And unfortunately, we have people that are out here either breaking people further or because let me say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna mean it, okay? From as my friend used to say, I meant to mean it. I meant to mean it when I say it, okay? There are way too many people following people that need your validation and your fandom, okay? They need you as a fan more than they want to help you. There are some people out here that you following and that you thinking, oh, they're awesome. The truth is they're in front of you because they need validation because they're broken. I'm not here to get validation. I told a guy the other day. A guy told me I'm going to have to unfollow you because I disagree. I said, okay, thank you for the time that you came. Have a good day. He said, I'm going to give you one more chance. One more chance to do what? Because I'm sure I'm going to piss you off again. I'm not here for validation from the people that I'm supposed to be helping. It's way too many people out here that will, because it's so easy to hit the live button and because it's so easy to rah people up and say some slick stuff that maybe you didn't heard somewhere else or maybe you didn't came up with yourself. It's easy to impress somebody who is impressionable. It's easy to get on here and say a few rhymes or say some things that make sense. But some people don't have the insight or foresight, okay? Insight or foresight. They don't have the insight or foresight to realize, wait a minute, this person ain't trying to help people. This person trying to generate some crowd. This person trying to get some money. This person trying to get some validation. This person want us to be their fan. I'm not looking for fans. I'm not looking for fans. I'm looking to help people. If you want to be helped, holler at me. If you don't, have a good one. If you're okay with where you at, no problem. Okay? So yeah, that's one of the problems. So I feel like sometimes we thrust people into ministry just because they have a call don't mean it's for today. Okay. So anyway, let me move back to him. So because I don't want to keep y'all too long. So he divorced that wife and he openly confessed fear of ever being married again, but he knew that that woman wanted to be married. So he knew that Loretta Jones wanted to be married. I have a problem with that, but I'm going to say that for a minute. Now, he recently proposed to Loretta, and here are some of the things that he said in the proposal. Number one, he said, and I quote, "I would not sneak off and get married and not tell you." And let me just take a pause for the cause and drink out of my cup for that one. I'm drinking vitamin water, so don't be tripping. But he said, and I quote, "I would not sneak off and get married and not tell you." 28 years. If y'all don't believe me, when you log off, go look at the proposal for yourself on YouTube. Right after you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Relationship TV with Zakiya Monique, he said, and I quote, years ago, there was a rumor out that I went out and got married or got engaged, and I'm here to tell you that I would not sneak off and get married and not tell you. That's what he told that woman years ago. He told her that years ago. Now, let me tell y'all who the rumors were that he was, that's where all the buzz was coming from. My grandma always said, you know what, it might not be true, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's usually fire. There were rumors that he was linked to and prepared to propose to Lisa Ray. And then he was rumored to be dating Nene Leakes. And this was all between 2008 and 2011. Now, I don't usually get into the gossip thing, but I only brought that up for one reason. 2008 to 2011. Now, this is 2022. Can somebody subtract 28 from 22? Don't them years fall in that? He said that lady been with him for 28 years. That was what he said. They linked him to Lisa Ray and Nene Leakes between 2008 and 2011 multiple times. I'll talk about that in a minute. So here are some other things he said. This was part of the proposal. He said, I was thinking, should I give up my freedom coat for a straitjacket? Should I give up not having to answer to anyone? Should I have someone censoring who comes to my house? Should I have to give up my Ferrari for a station wagon? This was all after some references to him being old and her having to push him around and deal with the old man who's set in his ways and all of that. After which he then pulled out a Cracker Jack box, pulled the ring out, asked her to marry him, got on his knee, asked him to marry him. And she said yes. Meanwhile, while he was saying all of this, she was just twirling. She was just twirling and waiting while they had the two armor bearers who had walked her up to the stage. She was just looking so proud, and they were looking so proud. And he's 72 years old. And so, and my question is, this is my thing. This is my thing. I don't know who he messed around with. Not here for that. Just brought that up to say that there was some indiscretions in them years. Okay. But my question is, what message does this send? What message does this send? Because he did this in his church. He did this on stage in his church. See, my thing is, if you did this in the comfort of your own home, that's your own business. That's your thing. But he did this on stage at his church, right? And so my question is, what message does this send? See, we have way too many women wasting their youth for somebody to validate them with a ring. And this doesn't do anything but perpetuate that. Okay. Marriage is beautiful when you're married to the right one for you, but it is not meant to be validation that you're good enough. It's just not. Okay, this is it's not. The problem that I have with this is, number one, it sets the tone for a perpetual cycle of struggle, love in our community continue. It's going to continue. 28 years, and then all of a sudden you're the special girl that happens to get a proposal at the church one day, and we're supposed to just live happily ever after and not worry about the fact that for 28 years you didn't choose me. For 28 years you were not healed from your previous relationship, right? Like it or not, he's an influencer, but on a deeper level, he's a spiritual influencer. And when asked throughout the years why he had not gotten married, he said Paul, what from the Bible, was not married, and said that marriage was not a prerequisite for ministry. Now, to that, I say, yes, that is true. But I don't quite recall Paul holding hands with and relating to a woman on Sundays for 28 years either. I don't quite recall Paul being linked to various other women while he was in a situationship with this woman either. So we can't quote the part of the Bible that works for us and then skip over here and do something totally different. Is he a man? Is he human? Absolutely. But don't use Paul, because Paul wasn't over here. Paul wasn't over here with her and over here with her. Okay, Paul was like, it's better that you stay single because you got work to do for the Lord. But it's better to marry than to burn with passion. So if you're gonna burn with passion, marry. But I'm telling you, you want to be by yourself because you really just don't want to have to deal with a family and a ministry and this and that. But if you can't stand it, before you burn with passion, go and get married. Okay, that's what Paul was saying. Since we want to bring up Paul was saying stay single and do the work of the Lord. He was not saying let me see what Lisa Ray talking about, or what so and so talking about, or let me holler at you after 28 years. That ain't what he was doing. He used Paul. He said that in an interview himself. This is what I heard come out his mouth. Okay. So he also said that he was fearful of getting married again, and that he mentioned the scripture that if you divorce for any reason other than fornication, if you remarry, you are guilty of adultery. And that is what the word says. Okay. And that's why I'm amazed at how many people that just keep dumping spouses and moving on. Because y'all got irreconcilable differences. Like you just gonna keep on ditching spouses and moving to the next one. All right. That's between you and God. That's your business. But here's what I want to say. It does say that. But my question is, did that change? He said he was fearful of getting married again because in the scripture it said that if you divorce for any other reason other than fornication, if you remarry, you're guilty of adultery. So did that change or something? Or moving right along. Now, that is his business. And again, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm not here to speak. I'm not here to speak on him as a bishop or his call because I don't got nothing to do with that. But I do want to say that this is indicative of a bigger problem, because my question to you is, where do bishops, pastors, preachers, and all of them go when they're hurt and wounded? Where do they go? Where do pastors and bishops and preachers and all these high-end folks and high level leaders, where do they go when they get wounded and hurt? Sometimes they can't go to their homeboys because they done told their homeboys life sweet. Or they scared their homeboys gonna say, now you know you ought to trust the Lord for that. Sometimes you don't want to hear that. I know I need to trust him, but I'm having a moment right now. Sometimes it's easier to trust the Lord in this area than it is in that area. If I'm having a moment, I don't need you to remind me of you need to trust the Lord. Just speak to my spirit. But where do they go? He was clearly hurt from his first divorce and has since carried that residue. And from the way he was describing and how he saw marriage, did you hear him say, give up his freedom for a straitjacket? So he's not even describing marriage as something that's beautiful and a blessing. He's describing it as, I'm just settling for this. So he's still clearly hurt. There's not a place for pastors and bishops and preachers to go because people expect them to be so close to the Lord, but they forget that they're human too. So guess what they'll do? They'll act the part, they'll suit up, they'll preach the walls down and go home and beat their wives and get drunk and cheat and do other things as outlets because they can't tell nobody because they expect them to be God. Not be next to God, not be close to God, but we expect them to be God. And that's the problem. Because they're not God. Far from it. Maybe they have God in them, but they are not God. This is why we cannot follow man. We cannot follow man. We follow the God in man. We cannot follow man. Why? Let me tell you something. A pastor once told me that I needed to blindly follow him. And I asked him, well, if I blindly follow you, how am I know if you go off course? How am I going to know that whether you go off course or not if I blindly follow you? Bruh, cut it. God don't tell us to blindly follow nobody. You know how I know? Because he said, watch as well as pray. Watch. Watch. Study to show thyself approved, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. How can I do any of that if I'm blindly following you? I don't think so. I don't think so. We have to know the word and have a relationship for ourselves so we know when to go. He called her his lady friend for 28 years. I'm not finna be your lady friend for 28 years. I'm just not. Ladies, if you don't hear nothing else tonight, hear me clearly. You need to have a timeline on this here lady friend thing. How long we gonna be friends? Because men are intentional. When they see what they want, they go and get it. You hear me? When they see what they want, they go get it. They lock it down. They call it theirs. They put their name on it. This here is mine. She belongs to me. Not no 28 years. It don't take him to know your worth. It don't. It take him 28 years to settle for you, but it don't take him 28 years to know your worth. He don't. It don't. It don't. It don't. Men are intentional. When they see what they want, they go ahead and say, that's it right here. You. Hey, excuse me. Hey, excuse me. Not you. Her. Yeah, come here. I need to give you your last name. Here. They make moves. Men are intentional. They don't play games. Not no 28 years. He had to tell her that he would let her know if he got married. If that ain't a level of disrespect, ladies, what is it? Don't let no man settle for you. Don't let no man tell you that if he got married, he'd let you know. He wouldn't let you find out in the streets. If you ever have to have a conversation and a man have to tell you not to worry about another woman, something's wrong. Something is wrong. Somebody said, is he truly divorced? Not mentally, apparently. He's still struggling. And here's the thing. That's why I mentioned, where do they go? Where do pastors go? They expect them to have all of the answers. Where do they go? Just because he has a title don't mean he's right. Because you don't know who call he answered. Everybody ain't answering the call of God. Some folks answering the call of their homies. You don't think people can become bishops from homiehood? I ain't saying him, but I'm just saying people can. People can become bishops from homiehood. You understand? Can't marry a new woman until he married. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, no, he's divorced. He's divorced legally, yes. Yes, legally, yes, he's divorced. But I just thought you meant like connected to her, like still connected to not her, but the situation in and of itself. But no, he's divorced according to what he said. You understand what I'm saying? Just because he got a title don't mean he's right. You don't know who's called. People will say that they whatever they are. You apostle, you deacon, you whatever, but that does not mean that they answer God's call. Some folks is out here purchasing some credentials and doing some things on their own, and ain't nobody called them for nothing. And that's their business. I don't get into who called you and none of that. I know a man by their fruit. I will know who you are by what you do. I don't need you to tell me if you're a pastor. I don't need you to tell me if you're a preacher. I'll know by what you do. I know by what you do. I know exactly who you are by what you do. Ladies, this is it. Grand finale. If you let him waste your time, it's your fault. If you let him waste your time, it's your fault. If you let him waste your time, it's your fault. If you let him waste your time, it's your fault. It's your fault. Somebody said, I wonder if she stayed for the money. She might have. People have different reasons for being in relationships. They do. Everybody ain't there for monogamy. Everybody don't want monogamy. Some people want polygamy. Some people say he can go and do what he want to do. I just want to be comfortable. Whatever the case is, if he wastes your time, it's on you. Go watch the Noel Jones proposal for yourself. I'm not against either one of them. Wasn't meant to be messy in any way. No shade, no shame, nowhere. I just wanted to bring about some points, and I hope that this has helped. I love you guys so very much. Listen, I hope this has been helpful, and I want you to have a great day. You already know how. On purpose. God bless you. And thank you for hanging out with me tonight.